Penguin Random House Audio presents A Murder Over a Girl, Justice, Gender, Junior High. This is the author, Ken Corbett. You Are Not One of Us, Charles Dickens. Part 1, Murder. Chapter 1, Behind Me. Have you tried not to think about this at all until today? Yes. Is this really hard for you? Yes. Did you see Brandon when he came into the courtroom this morning? Yes. You saw the same person that you saw shoot Larry King? Yes. Yes? Where is he sitting? I know, I'm not going to ask you to look at him, but can you tell me, where is he sitting? Behind me. Deep breath. Where? Behind me. Mariah Thompson had come to testify in the People of the State of California v. Brandon David McInerney. 3 years earlier, on February 12, 2008, 14-year-old Brandon shot 15-year-old Lawrence Larry Phobes King twice in the back of the head during their first period English class at E.O. Green Junior High in Oxnard, California. On this, the second day of the trial, July 6, 2011, Brandon stood accused of first-degree murder, lying in wait, and a hate crime. The hate was said to be gender hate. Larry King had begun referring to himself as a girl a few days before he was killed, and it was alleged by the Ventura County District Attorney that Brandon killed Larry because of his perceived gender or sexual orientation. The bailiff, Los Angeles District Deputy Sheriff Mike Anton, met Mariah at the main door to courtroom F51 of the Superior Court of the State of California, Los Angeles County, Chatsworth, California. Room F51 was a windowless, though brightly lit, sage-green box. It had been built for wear: plastic wood veneers, poorly padded folding seats, concrete floors. Even the sparse carpeting was made to endure, not bounce. Mariah had been a classmate of Larry King and Brandon McInerney, and an eyewitness to the shooting. Sheriff Anton offered his hand to guide her to the witness stand. She did not look up as she walked past the visitors' gallery toward the well of the court. Sheriff Anton opened a small gate in the waist-high wall that divided the gallery from the well, and gently directed Mariah between the tables used by the prosecution and the defense teams. Wearing a white cotton sundress and black ballet flats, she recoiled even as she advanced, walking with her head bent forward, her shoulders rounded into her round frame. She made no eye contact. She stopped a few feet before the judge's bench. She tugged at the edge of her salmon-colored cardigan sweater. The judge, the Honorable Charles W. Campbell, sat at his imposing bench above Mariah. The clerk of the court, the record-keeper, and her assistant sat at a long desk perpendicular to the judge's bench on the right. The court reporter sat below the judge, not far from where Mariah stood. The jury was seated on a 3-row riser to Mariah's left. Sheriff Anton instructed Mariah to raise her right hand and face the clerk. Mariah did not turn, nor did she look up toward the clerk. She did, though, raise her hand barely above her hip. Holding a Bible, Madam Clerk asked, "Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you are about to give in the case now pending before this court is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?" Mariah nodded and was sworn in. With Sheriff Anton's help, she made her way up a single step to the witness stand, a small perch sandwiched between the judge's bench and the jury box. Mariah sat hunched on the edge of the brown upholstered chair, the sort one might see in an office cubicle. Sheriff Anton, the unerring butler of the courtroom, ran his hand over the rail, as if to demonstrate that Mariah was protected. She stated her first name and spelled it. She looked for the first time out at the room. 57 people had gathered. The judge, businesslike and patrician, could have just as easily been sitting at the head of a conference table in a corporate boardroom, his wavy silver hair carefully combed. Joining him at the front of the room were the patient women who ran the proceedings, the clerk, her assistant, and the court reporter. There were 12 jurors, 9 women, 3 men. 8 wore wedding rings, 9 were white, 3 were brown. During jury selection, 3 had indicated that they were retired. They were formerly a businessman, a career military man, and a social worker. 7, all of them women, had reported that they were of middle age, 3 housewives, 2 nurses, 1 teacher, 1 office worker. 2 of the jurors were younger, a female college student and a young man who worked in his family's business. 2 were fathers, 7 were mothers. The prosecution and the defense teams also sat in the well. Leading the prosecution was Deputy District Attorney Maeve Fox, a petite woman who wore the kind of suits women wear to formal lunches in fashion magazines. She was focused on her notes and did not look up as she stacked folders and arranged 3-ring binders. Her habit of order comically collided with the disorganization of her investigator, Robert Coughlin, who sat next to Miss Fox and seemed to be looking for something that had gone missing. Heading up the defense was Scott Whippert, whose belt was as tight as he could cinch it, yet he still had to hitch up his pants. I would later learn that he had lost 10 pounds as he prepared for the trial. Mr. Whippert was leafing through a yellow legal pad, making notes. Like Miss Fox, he did not look up. Robin Bramson, the defense co-counsel, a freshman litigator, looked around the room. She squinted and squirmed. Catherine Listel, the defense investigator, sat at the edge of the table, struggling to gather the tangled nests that were her hair and her notes. Just before Mariah entered the room, Brandon had been escorted from a door on the right-hand side of the courtroom, a doorway that led to the holding cell in which he had been waiting. 2 deputy sheriffs, broad men in khaki uniforms, had walked alongside him as he took his seat. Brandon was wearing civilian clothing, gray slacks, a light blue Oxford cloth shirt, and square-toed black shoes. He did not look toward the visitors' gallery. It was difficult at first to see his face, although it was not hard to see that he was taller than the sheriffs who accompanied him. Brandon now sat between Mr. Whippert and Ms. Bramson. In the gallery, the press sat in a row of 4 single-file seats. Each chair was full. 2 local print journalists, Zeke Barlow from the Ventura County Star and Catherine Salant from the Los Angeles Times, and 2 local television reporters, Christina Gonzalez, Fox LA, and Amy Johnson, KCBS, KCAL. The main visitors' gallery comprised 5 rows of 8 seats each. 3 retired attorneys with 3 bald spots sat in the front row. 4 members of the McInerney family sat in the second row, behind the defense team. Kendra McInerney, Brandon's mother, tall like her son, wore a black and white sundress with sandals. Her long blonde hair was streaked with gray and looked perpetually wet, as if she had just come from the beach. Seated to her right was her friend Nancy, who dressed in men's work clothes and wore her black hair in a tight braid. She could have been the handsome Indian in a Hollywood movie from the 1940s, save for the fact that she had payaso ghetto, ghetto clown, tattoo.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?